up? What up? What up? This Ed, Karan the Sum, just checking me out real quick. You know what I mean? And J Hat looking right. Okay. But anyway, we back to official thanks here. Just go around here. Actually, gonna talk to one of my big cousins here, who's actually been, truly a blessing to me just throughout my life here in regards to helping me out certain circumstances, or just obviously just being someone to conversate with periodically. While when I bounced from NJ to Connecticut, and stay put up here. Actually, she's been a Connecticut native, born, raised here, as far as her whole life here. Let me see. She might not have been born here, but definitely was raised here in Hartford, Connecticut. And just been here throughout. So, again, I'm just looking forward to just shooting the breeze with her. She's going to talk about her experience growing up in Hartford. And then, hello there.
Hello there. How you doing?
I'm good. I see you working this thing pretty well. You got the camera. You were right. You said you know how to do all this stuff. I apologize for doubting.
No problem, because I'm doing it on my tablet too.
Oh, excuse me.
That's how advanced I am.
Nah. Thank you for taking a few minutes here. Again, I'm not going to take too much of your day here, but I guess, I know you heard from my mom and everything. Like I said, I just kind of, people's experiences growing up in different places, and particularly, obviously, you being, raised in Hartford and Connecticut throughout here. I'm just being nosy, just kind of like, just what that was like just as a kid growing up, and just how was it for you?
Okay. Oh, so that's what you're asking me now?
That's what I'm asking. Just an open-ended, just kind of thing.
Growing up in Hartford back in the 60s, 70s, and by the 80s, I was an adult. It was a different time from what they are now. It was a lot of community activities, a lot of togetherness. Everybody knew their neighbors. You knew from one end of the street to the other. All the kids, we grew up playing with each other all the time. We didn't have a lot of the issues that young people have today.
Mm-hmm.
As far as like them, not liking this one. They had their little gangs or whatever, but basically kids got along. Kids got along in your neighborhood. Everybody had a good time. And it was fun, and we had things to do in Hartford. So Hartford was a different place. We had summer jobs, so, you didn't have kids just hanging out. You could start working from the age of 12. This program called Co-op. And looking back, it probably was like, I don't know what you would call it, but we got like $2 a week.
Mm-hmm. And then $2. Wow. That was a lot probably back then, too.
And what can you do what kind of job can you get at 12? Not very much, but $2, that can get you a lot of little snacks, a lot of little treats.
Yeah, penny candies, absolutely.
Yeah, but at the end of the summer, we would get like $90 and go shopping at one of the local little stores like Bradley's to buy all of our school clothes. Can you imagine buying all your school clothes for $90?
$90. And Bradley, what was Bradley's at?
Bradley's was located over there on Park Street, Park and New Park.
Okay.
Where Save-A-Lot is?
Yes.
Down in that area.
Okay.
That's where I knew Bradley's was. And all your parents had to do was buy you a school coat and some shoes.
Mm.
So $90 went a long way back then.
Yeah.
And then when you got older at 14, you were able to work like through CRT and you got a little more money. But everybody wanted to work. Kids lied about their age. So that way they could work, because people wanted to work. People wanted to work. Like nobody was lazy. Everybody wanted a little job. And those that didn't work, they had different activities going on at the park or the schools where they could had night gym and stuff like that, where the boys would go and play basketball. So it was a lot of stuff to do. It was a good time.
Yeah, you mentioned work. Interesting. I know we do for a little snow today. And obviously me living in Hartford now, it's just interesting. I always wait to see if somebody gonna knock on the door if they want a shovel. I get a couple once in a blue that want to come through, but that was like, we used to have to fight for houses growing up.
Yeah, kids don't do that anymore. You can't even hardly find them now. I don't know where they are. They're just lazier.
Yeah.
They don't want to get that little dollar that they got to hustle for.
No, absolutely. Where was the hangout spots at for you, teenagers? Where were you guys in Hartford? Like, if any.
We would hang at like Keeney Park. Keeney Park was the spot.
Okay.
Keeney Park was a different park back then.
I heard it used to be a zoo too.
We had a zoo. It was on Sherwood Forest.
Okay.
Sherwood Forest. And when I was going to school in Hartford, we would take field trips to Sherwood Forest, and you entered Sherwood Forest by Tower Avenue.
Okay.
To go in that entrance to get to the fort, to this little zoo.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember what kind of animals they had, but it was a little zoo. Probably on the line of Beardsley, what's that zoo in Bridgeport? Like Beardsley Park, a zoo or something like that?
Right, I know what you're talking about, Beardsley, yes.
Yeah, so it probably was on the line of that, but that probably didn't last for so many years. I guess it probably cost a lot to upkeep it and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that ended up going by the wayside. But Keene Park was a different park. It was a safe park back then. Families would go there like for the different holidays, like Memorial Day, 4th of July. You bring your picnic grill, you bring all your supplies, and you had your cookout there.
Yeah.
But then the city ended up getting slack at some point. When you had a cookout, you had to bring your own lawnmower to kind of cut your own grass. They got a little slack in that area.
Yeah.
The kids would go and we would play like tennis, and we'd do like racquetball, and kids just hang out.
Yeah. So Keene was one of the park, probably the park people would go to?
Yes, and see, me being a female, and I was a little more quieter, so I didn't hang out like all over the place because I was more like I guess an introvert. I had my friends and I hung out in different areas, but most of the time I was at home reading my books. The sisters were hanging out. They were riding their bikes all over the neighborhood. I was scared to ride with the traffic, so I didn't ride the bike in the neighborhood.
Okay.
I was scared of getting hit. Like, no, I didn't trust them. The sisters, they rode their bike all over Hartford. That wasn't my thing.
Now, how was school for you growing up? I know high school you went elsewhere. Did you go to school in Hartford at all?
I went to school in Hartford up until the 3rd grade. 3rd grade was my last year in Hartford.
Okay.
That I was part of Project Vern, which is now Project, what's that?
It's choice now. Yes.
I started with Suffield in the 4th grade.
Mm-hmm.
That was a little traumatic. You're coming from an all-black school with mostly white teachers. Now you're going to an all-white school where you might be the only one in the classroom.
Right.
And that was a little traumatic. I cried for a whole week that first week.
Yeah.
Because it was just so different. You could hear a pin drop in the hallway. Not that our school, if Northwest Jones on Albany Avenue, was that bad and noisy, but it was just a different type of quietness.
Okay.
And you were the only one. I had one other friend that was bust out with me in my classroom. So she used to comfort me, like, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. But they got a little 4th grader comforting each other because it was a little different. Mm-hmm. But then in due time, you adjust because kids are kids. Kids adjusted, and we came from the double dutch era. So we showed the little white kids how to play double dutch. Yeah. And they introduced us to the Archie's music and all that other kind of stuff.
Okay.
And playing tetherball and the different games they played. And then we got along just fine. And it was okay. Everybody figured out you're just a kid. You might look a little different, but you like to play like everybody else. And after a while, you didn't even see color.
Nah, so interesting. How was it? No, I was gonna say, how was it being home and going to school out there? Nobody tried to picking on you or took any issues because you might have started. Your thoughts start being a little more suburban.
Well, that's what some people would say. Because what, most of the time, by the time we came home, it was dark, so you didn't get to see the kids in the neighborhood. So it was a good experience being bussed out to the suburban schools. But then it hindered you when you came back home, when you got older, because now you go to school with another set of kids and you come home to another set that you don't even know. Yeah. So now the activities and the functions they're doing when you get older, like if I didn't work the summer jobs, I wouldn't have met some of the kids in the neighborhood. Like the people that lived in my street, I was okay. But if you lived outside of my street, I wouldn't have known you. But with my summer jobs, I got to meet other people. So it kind of hurt you. Like when you see other people like my age now, that's 60, 61, 62, and they talk about things they did at their high school and with this and that, you don't have any of those memories. You didn't do any of those things.
Okay.
So you can't share in any of that stuff. And then we can't share in a lot of the stuff from my suburban school because you went to school there, but then you had the bus that had to pick you up at a certain time to bring you back home.
Right.
So you really couldn't really participate in a lot of the activities. You know, you tried and they tried to find a ride for you after school if you wanted to play basketball or any of the other sports or whatever, but that wasn't always easy.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of like was teetering in between two different worlds and you weren't really a part of either one. You just living on the edge.
Yeah, if you was to do it over again, would you want to go to school straight through Hartford?
I would go back to Suffolk. It was a good experience because
okay.
Life is not all one race.
Right.
It's not all one race. So it prepares you for the real world because you don't live in an all black world. You don't live in an all white world. Mm-hmm. You got to learn how to intermingle with all kind of people. And it's helped out. It helped out. It was okay. It was good. Because then some of my friends that went to the Harvard schools, they might have had a different upbringing or whatever, but a lot of them ended up being young parents, you know, at a young age. A lot of them didn't finish school. They dropped out. That wasn't part of our world in the suburbs. You know, you didn't know of anybody that got pregnant at a young age, you know, and everybody finished high school and most people wanted to go to college. Not saying that the kids in the city school didn't do that, but the ones in my neighborhood, a lot of them didn't do that. So I don't know would I have been part of that group or would I have been part of the group that did go to college, you know, because a lot of the city kids, they go to school too. Some of them move on, but at that time, a lot of them didn't go. The people I knew, they didn't go to college. So I was like an exception in my little group of friends that I had that did go on to college.
Yeah. And then also even now, if it was like, what's one of the big differences you see from back as a childhood to now? Like if there was any huge difference that you notice, is there anything that's different from a kid now just in regards to Hartford?
Probably now. It might be because of the climate that we live in now. It might be a lot of more racial stuff going on.
Okay.
You know, which we didn't have. You know, every now and then you would get like a problem with one little kid, but then you squash that. But it wasn't a lot of racial stuff going on back in those days.
Yeah.
Not that I saw. I didn't have any problems or nobody calling me out of my name or me feeling uncomfortable with any of the little white kids. Oh, we had a good time with them. It was good.
Nah, good. And also, too, one of the reasons, actually, not trying to do a full-blown interview about Hartford. Obviously, you know, Hartford became dear to me, but I'll touch on that in a second. But another reason just to catch you on here was kind of to let you know, it's this little project, this thing I had going on outside of just your experience growing up, but also for me to just, you know, I just want to say thank you in regards to a lot of things here that you've done for me. I mean, I know growing up, you know, even coming up to Connecticut in regards to visiting you guys, you know, Moosey, Steffi, Big Ma, Auntie Snow, everybody. It was always like, you know, exciting, even though, again, I know you're being my second cousin and, you know, me being younger, but just being out of state and coming up here, just knowing, you know, you guys always say, I never thought for a second as far as to take to, you know, Missy and I, what have you. And I think even for me, and I remember a couple of things. I remember when I got shipped off, but I remember me just going even to prep school in Maine for that year. You sending me, you know, a little care package, you know, little things I just don't forget. And then obviously somehow I ended up in Connecticut, you know, college and just stayed here afterwards and started my life. And obviously being in Hartford here. But even those times that was like, you know, rough patches for me, you know, you allowed me to stay at your house, you know, whether it was me transitioning to my own apartment, you could stay here for a little bit and, you know, or even situations where I had to stay there, and you know, another time as well, too. Your door has always been open as far as in regards to me, not only your door, but your heart as well, too, as far as just checking in, conversating with me here and just making sure that I was okay. And then even, you know, the calls, you know, the ongoing calls, even to this day, and just, you know, I know sometimes that I laugh to myself, like you sometimes may be the go-between my mom and me, I know when she got her little issues with me or whatever the case is, I know that, but we don't need to talk about none of that, but I'm well aware of that. I'm well aware of that. I don't know. Sometimes she might think, buffer here or whatever the case may be. But even outside of that though, I think just, always just welcoming, myself here. And, like I said, whether me had to stay there a couple of times, but just, it was never no hesitation with anything here. And I just like truly am appreciative and just, I know I don't say, but I really, I thank you. I really mean that like from the bottom of my heart here. Like, and then I think even now, taking to Nyla and Colleen, as far as them being in my life. And again, I know I'm only 5 minutes from you, but it's still in all, people that live next door to each other that don't see each other at all. So, but you always, took, take it to me and whatever I was doing or what have you. Then even obviously with, Rashad, just being around as far as you never shunned me or anything like that. Again, I don't look at it as nothing but just flat out gratitude that I'm appreciative that you're actually in my life and all the things that you've done for me. And I'm missing a bunch of stuff here, but, I think I just definitely just wanted to say thank you. And, yeah. I mean, that was a mouthful, but I just wanted to share that.
Okay, well, you're welcome. Hey, you weren't just a cousin. You're like a little brother. You're like an in-between. You're cousin brother type thing. I had to look out for you. So
yeah.
Feel a little protective. Yeah. You like the little brother I didn't have.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
All good. And I'm proud of all the work that you've done and you're doing. You're good inspiration to other young Black men out there.
Nah, and again, like I said, I get, I'm an extension of all you guys here. It's something that I stole from family members, friends. I take bits and pieces, and all that stuff is, become me. And I just kind of put my twist to it. But definitely, I just seen like everything. Again, you just being there for everybody, like I said, and I'm in that list as well. And I'm very, like I said, very appreciative of that. And I just wanted to just say, again, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Glad I can do it.
Yeah, and then again, I don't know what the future holds in regards to just with anything, but I know whenever in the jam, though, I know you can be counted on. So.
Oh yeah, no problem, without a doubt, no hesitation.
Yeah, I'm not gonna try to get too mushy and sappy, but like I said, I just wanted to.
Do I need some tissue or what?
No. I just wanted to share. Nothing's wrong with me. Nothing that I know is wrong with me. Yeah. So let me clear that up. Make sure. Last I checked, I'm okay. So there's nothing going on where I gotta, just do this. But I just wanted to just, like I said, let you know.
Okay. You're welcome.
Yeah. And even with a little bit, just backing up with the whole Hartford piece, like some of that stuff I didn't even know. Again, as far as you going to school here or just living in Hartford, I didn't know Keeney was the park to go. And I live with a wannabe Hartford resident, Yeah, I knew, Colleen told me about the zoo. She told me about it, but I never knew as far as that was also like a little hangout spot as well too.
Oh yeah, it was a good family safe park. People went swimming there during the summers. I went to the park. I didn't swim because I had too much hair. I couldn't get my hair wet. But the sisters learned how to swim there. But it was a wonderful place. People had a good time. It was safe. It was a different place. It was a different place. When you got old enough, your parents could say, "Hey, you can go to the park," and you go to the park without any supervision. And gosh, we were young. I tell you, like maybe 9 or 10.
Okay.
Going up the street, and it was just up the street from where I lived at. But you didn't have to worry. Your parents didn't have to worry about you. You were safe.
Yeah.
It was good. It changed over the years where other elements started taking over the park, and then it was no longer safe, because activities were taking place, other illegal activities. So now you had to be a little careful of what might be going on in the park. So it had changed some, and hopefully they're trying to bring it back some, so it can become a family park again.
Yeah, I know they've had some events here and there. Obviously, me living right here. Right by there. So I know there's been some things, and it's interesting the path he took, obviously, with, being bussed out. I know Nyla's technically not, she's in the same program, and I know she's a little closer than where you had to go, and I think even us living in Hartford, kind of, she gets she gets a couple of educations, but as far as obviously you got the book education from the town she goes to, as far as being in West Hartford, but also just even living where we live too. Just you get a couple of educations here, and I know, and that was kind of one of my things even with her. I just, and I share with her that, Auntie Vern, she went to school elsewhere as well too, but but she's figuring it out. At the tender age of 6, she's figuring it out. So
yeah. You can be a little bit of both, but more if it wasn't part of my street or my church, I didn't really know you. But so I had my good connections with those people there. So it's not like I knew everybody in Hartford. I just knew a few people. So the people that went to school, like, nope, don't know those people. But I still have my little connections, but not as many as if I would have gone to school here.
No, absolutely.
And with me, I was always volunteering for things. So I was part of Junior Achievement. I did like a little dance group. I did the little brownies. So I was the active person. I was always finding something to get involved in. So
That's right. And like I said, we mirror that with Nyla. Yeah, we mirror that with her.
Yep. So Nyla is like what I was doing. I did a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
Yeah. Yeah, she gets a dose of all that stuff. Yeah, definitely. Like I said, and that's, again, like I mentioned, me just stealing stuff from folks. Like I said, I'm mindful of that. So, I try to, embed that in her too as well. So we'll see how she turns out.
She'll be fine.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah. But I don't want to take too much of your time. But like I said, I'm very impressed that you knew no issues getting on the Zoom here. Unlike my mom, she was dolled up.
I heard.
Yeah.
Like
She's dolled up.
Or something, huh?
Yeah. But it's cool though. But thank you for even taking time out.
You're welcome. No problem. No problem. And I impressed you because I knew how to do it on my tablet. I said I could do it on my tablet.
I see that. I'm very impressed.
Yes.
Nah, you didn't have any issues pushing any buttons or what have you. No. Thank you again. And like I said, I definitely appreciate you, and I thank you.
You're welcome. Anytime.
So I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, take care.
All right, you too.
Okay.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, so definitely big cuz, big sis kind of thing here. Like I said, 5 minutes away, but it's just always been great to just have Vern around in regards to need anything or whatever the case may be, or just to stop and say hello. Like, sometimes that's some of the best times, just sitting there, just shooting the breeze, catching up, whatever the case may be here. But now Vern has definitely been a huge part of my life, and I'm very, like I said, very grateful for that. With all that being said here, another one down. I'm just going to keep rocking and rolling. We go from there. When I put my hand over my heart, that means I feel you. Parting like the ashy knuckles, man. I got to get my lotion game right. But until then, we'll talk. Yeah.